And oh my gosh, Washington, what have you done? Washington lost at Wisconsin. Sam, I thought in the preview, I was like, okay, I'm gonna say it. I think Washington can lose this game. But I was like, no, I'm not gonna say it. I don't want to put that kind of bad juju on Washington, and I didn't want the Washington fans to come for me. I was like, I just don't say it. Like Washington's gonna win this game. Yes, it's on the road. Yes, there could be some weather, but they should be fine. Like they have a healthier offensive line. They should be fine. It was not fine. Jonah Coleman goes out in that game, and Jonah Coleman was the type of running back you want in that game, right? I mean, big bowling
Yes.
ball, able to kind of move people around, and not going to say anything bad about Adam Muhammad. He did okay. It's not like he was terrible in the game or anything, but Jonah Coleman would have been such a nice piece for you to have. Damon Williams just kind of refusing to throw the ball at the end of the game because it was so wet, and eventually Wisconsin's just like, yeah, we're going to spy you. To think that Washington couldn't throw the ball against such a poor secondary for Wisconsin pretty much all year. It was really tough, and just another poor road performance by Washington this season. They will probably not be ranked for the rest of the season, even if they continue to win out. I don't think so. And it's a really sad day for Washington fans, but a very happy day for Wisconsin fans who get their first win in the Big Ten. Sam, your thoughts on Wisconsin, them winning this game? Their punter is their leading passer in the game. Amazing defense from Mike Tressel and the boys. What are your thoughts, Sam?
That was the worst possible way that Washington could have lost any game this year. I mean, if they lose to Purdue at home, that one ups it. But this was pretty bad. Like you mentioned, their punter was their leading passer. Um, if not for him, they would have averaged less than 2 yards per pass attempt. So that's horrible. They weren't even effective at running the football all that much. But they did it well enough to move the ball at times and punch it into the end zone. What I look at here is between Wisconsin, Michigan, and Ohio State, who are probably the three best defensive fronts Washington's played all season long. Maybe Illinois, but I don't think Illinois is like maybe they're better than Wisconsin's, but they're not better than Michigan or Ohio
I want to
State's.
put Illinois above Wisconsin. I give it to Wisconsin.
Okay. Yeah, so we'll go with that. I would think so too, but I just in case wanted to give Illinois some credit there. But with that being said, they have scored 26 points, Washington has, against Michigan, Ohio State, and Wisconsin combined. Their offense is averaging less than 9 points per game against teams with great defensive fronts because they're incapable of scaling their offense against teams that can get pressure on the quarterback and that can shut down their rushing attack because their offensive line just isn't that good. And Coleman being out, Denzel Boston limping off the field for like a series or so, and then coming back in. They're a thin team that isn't solid in the trenches. And as you get into November and you have all those hits and tackles, you can begin to fall apart if that's how you're constructed. And I fear that Washington's at that point now where their offense, well, look, Jed Fish is a great offensive mind. They have great players there, but it's been figured out because they're limited in what they can do. And on top of that, they're suffering injuries. And it's not good when, well, you should beat Purdue. I think you'll beat Purdue. You have a trip to UCLA before the Oregon game, and Oregon's defensive front it's better than Wisconsin's, it's better than Michigan's, it's probably closer to Ohio State's than it is to Michigan's. Like they're those linebackers and that defensive line, and then if you want to include maybe Thieneman or whichever one of their safeties can come down in the box, I just do not see how this team is going to have much success for the rest of the year.
Mm. I tend to agree. I think unfortunately for Washington, which I don't know, might be kind of fortunate too, because I think if Jed Fish was winning a little bit, you might hear him involved in some of these coaching searches a little bit more. But I don't think you're going to hear him, Florida going after him or anything like that, especially after this after this loss to Wisconsin here. But the other one that is kind of an interesting coaching situation. This is the last thing we'll say here, and then we'll move on. Is Luke Fickell. Sam, Luke Fickell looks like he's going to be fired. He only wins 2 games. He wins his 3rd game of the season, his first Big Ten win, a ranked win. He's got more ranked wins than Matt Rule at Nebraska. Sorry, Nebraska fans. That was mean. I shouldn't have said that. I feel
It's
bad now.
so bad.
But he has more ranked wins, and Luke Fickell now has some Wisconsin fans saying, "Okay, maybe we can get along with this. Like maybe this is okay." We saw the team kind of rally together. They're able to get the win here. Sam, what are your thoughts on Luke Fickell? Did you think he should have been fired before he got the vote of confidence? Now, does it change your opinion at all on him? What are your thoughts?
I need to see what they do in the preseason with their portal moves and staff changes and how that aligns with the schools on their schedule making changes before I give any vote of confidence. I mean, like we mentioned, they couldn't pass the ball, they struggled to run. The defense played lights out, but we've seen this defense for much of this year, like they do really good at, limiting the offenses initially, but they either get gotten through the air or Oregon. And brief side tangent. This is where, as bad as Oregon played against Wisconsin, what I was really impressed about them is like Michigan, outside of one explosive play, really struggled to run on them. Ohio State could not. Um, Alabama, like even worse. Oregon was able to like physically break them and run on them in that entire second half, which was quite the showing. So I don't know what's there. I think there's a very limited pocket of talent that probably exists on D line and linebacker. And unless he's able to keep all of that, if they have eligibility there, and make portal upgrades and probably make some staff changes, and all of it pans out, I still don't think this will work. I mean, they're 30.5-point underdogs to Indiana. What will Wisconsin fans be saying after Signetti against Penn State has a ton of things to chew his team out over on film and they get to return for homecoming? Like, you could lose that game 56-0, and we'll be back here on the drawing board. I hope it works out. I really do. But you probably, if you're going to vote confidence for him entering next year, you need to see how things go in the preseason. And with Illinois and Minnesota, you should be able to probably win one of those games, I would think. Maybe I'm wrong, though.
I think so too. I think Illinois is probably the more difficult one with the way Luke Altmaier is playing and the way that secondary has been. Not that I'm totally down on Drake Lindsey. I think Drake Lindsey has had a pretty good season for the type of team he's on and stuff like right now. And I don't mean that in a discredit to the team. I mean that more so in the fact that it's been a tough season for Minnesota with the injuries to Darius Taylor and some of that kind of stuff. But overall, I think that Drake Lindsey is a good quarterback. It's just Luke Altmaier has been really, really good this season. I think that's probably the area that I think more. But Illinois also has more of the offensive line issues that we've seen this season. So who knows?